What's going on, everyone? So, obviously, the Lakers could look to trade Austin Reaves this offseason. I do think that they, bare minimum, should at least be listening and open to potential trades and conversations for Austin Reaves, more so than they may have ever done in the past. Just because, again, there is so much uncertainty. He could just leave in the offseason and go sign with a team like Brooklyn and you get nothing for him, right? I don't necessarily think that'll happen, and there's not like a ton of teams that have the cap space to sign him. Also, I imagine he's going to want to go to a team where he can contend and compete, right? Where he can kind of get both, where he gets paid as well as contend and competes. I don't think he's going to want to go to a rebuilding team and it's like, okay, we're going to spend 5 years rebuilding and now I'm 33 and you know what I mean? Like, I don't think that that's something he'll do, but who knows, right? You never know. It's definitely a risk this upcoming season for the Lakers, but Lakers also have options in the offseason, right? Not this offseason, next offseason when he'd actually be a free agent. Obviously, sign and trades. Those are a huge thing now, especially with the new CBA. So Lakers could always sign and trade him. Lakers could always give him a new contract and then trade him later when he becomes trade eligible, right? That is another option potential. You also see players will do that sometimes, like get the bag now and then figure out the trade later type thing, especially again with the new CBA and all that stuff. So point is I do think this year in particular is really going to be a bit of a trial year, particularly for Austin Reaves. And the obvious is really alongside Luka, right? You look at when Lakers traded Luka. He missed, after the trade, missed some time. And then also LeBron, ended up missing some time. And then even Reaves missed a couple games, right? So, they didn't have a lot of time to mesh and work it out, right? And it's hard to really judge, on 20 games if Luka and Austin Reaves can work together, right, as a backcourt. And you look at Luka, and it's like, okay, well, Luka got to a conference finals with Jalen Brunson as his starting backcourt mate, and Austin Reaves is much better than that Jalen Brunson. Not talking about Knicks Jalen Brunson. That Jalen Brunson was nowhere near the Knicks Jalen Brunson, right? Austin Reaves right now is better than that Jalen Brunson. And then he got to an NBA Finals with Kyrie Irving. Now, look, not saying Austin Reaves is Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving is, but point is we have seen him get to a conference finals and get to an NBA Finals with a non-defensive, backcourt mate, right? So Lakers, I'm sure, are looking at that and evaluating that, right? But there are questions, again, of how well can they work? Because Luka is Luka. Austin Reaves, in a lot of ways, is kind of Luka light, right? As far as being the style of play, the more slower, methodical, kind of getting to the teeth of the defense, create the contact, right? And I do think Luka will help Reaves continue to grow and get better. But, you now have questions about Austin Reaves in the playoffs and stuff. How does that go? So I really look at this and I go, okay, I think this is going to be a big trial year, particularly for Austin Reaves and Luka. Because Lakers aren't going to get rid of LeBron unless LeBron wants to go or he retires. And then even then, there's going to be questions of Austin Reaves or Luka. Are they the guys in the backcourt? So question is, does it become a trial year till the trade deadline? And then the Lakers look to move him? If it's still a little kind of this might not be as great. Or do they give it the full season? Give it the playoffs, see how does he look in the playoffs, right? And then make your decision accordingly based on, how the playoffs go, right? But you also run the risk of it becoming harder to trade him, right? If Austin Reaves has another bad playoff season, bad playoff series, where the last Denver series, he was not great. He wasn't as bad as he was in the Minnesota series, but he was not great at all and shot the ball poorly. He was 27% from three-point range, right? And then you look at this Minnesota series. So, again, he's had more bad playoff series than he's had good ones at this point, right? Because he was excellent in the Memphis series, right? He was not very good in that Warriors series, particularly to start it. Kind of started to come around a little bit towards the end of that Warriors series, but Clay was busting him up, right? It was not pleasant. And then he was really good in that Denver series. So he had two really good series in one not so great series. Wasn't as bad as that game 1 and 2 were, but we'll say he was okay, right? So you have 2 series where he was good, 1 where he was like okay, right? Then the Denver series where he was again okay, if that. I mean, he was terrible defensively and then shot the ball poorly, but he did other things half decent. So it's like okay, let's say he was okay, right? And then he was terrible in this Minnesota series, right? So if he's terrible to just okay again, right? Like now teams start looking like, hey, this so there is the argument of sell high while you can, right? Like if Austin Reaves was like, pay me $20 million a year and make me the 6th man, keep him, right? It would be fantastic in that 6th man role. And would be fantastic. I mean, he'd probably win multiple 6 men of the year, right? And then, I would keep him without a doubt. Do not trade him, right? But I don't think that's going to happen. 1, he's going to want the bag. He's going to want 30 plus million. And 2, right? He's going to want to start. He's going to want a big part. Like he's looking at this as like me and Luka as, we're the guys going forward, right? And it's just like, is that the best course of action for the Lakers? Now, again, I'm not saying even if the Lakers do trade Austin Reaves, unless, some crazy package or something becomes available, I don't think the Lakers trade Austin Reaves this offseason. I think if the Lakers trade Austin Reaves, it's going to be closer to the trade deadline, right? And if not, in the offseason, right? So, but I really do think that this is a bit of a trial year, right? Trial year for Austin Reaves, right? Kind of look at him, gauge him, get a kind of feel, okay, how's he look? How's he doing? Right? Is him and Luka, right? Are they able to mesh? Like a big fix for Austin Reaves is if he could just get back to being 40% from 3-point range and consistent. Right? The problem is Austin Reaves is very streaky. If Austin Reaves could just find a 3-point shot, it would do wonders. Like Austin Reaves was very good shooting the 3 ball that emergence year. Which is why it was like, man, because that's why he was so good playing off of LeBron and Anthony Davis, because he was knocking down the 3 ball at like a 39-40% clip, right? Off ball. If he can get back to that, you'll see a drastic difference. Because right now, the problem is that Austin Reaves, and I've said this, I have broken it down, I have gone over it. Austin Reaves is also better. Just now, like his confidence, everything is just better. And it's just easier for him when his 3-point shot is falling. If he can turn his 3-point shot around, that would do wonders for the Lakers, for him, for Luka, for everybody. But I'm really curious to see how this kind of plays out as far as Austin Reaves and the trial year. But as always, it's a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.